So I'm Lou Bajuk from TIBCO Analytics. I'll be talking about how to apply the R language in streaming applications and business intelligence. Now to get there, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to take R, which is really developed for exploratory analysis, which is tremendously valuable for individual statisticians? Why would you want to embed it in a streaming application or a BI application? Well, it's because, enterprises, of which, many of you are a part, have various analytic challenges. One is big data. And if you're in this talk, you probably don't need me to explain what big data is. But, just lots and lots of data out there, and, some expectation of if you're collecting all this data, you actually want to do something with it, extract some value from it. Secondly, of course, organizations have competitive pressures, and these competitive pressures drive them to do various things. One is to get deeper insights into their data, where they want to apply advanced analytics, extract more information from the data they have. Once they have those deeper insights, they want to make smarter decisions. They want to make sure that across their organization, people are making the best decisions that they can with these deeper insights. And they want to make sure that that better decision-making isn't just limited to data scientists, but that these better decisions can be made by a much wider community within the organization. Third, they want to make these decisions faster, whether these are a human being making a decision based on the insight gathered from the tool, or this might be an automated system, automatically sending out some marketing offer or advising someone on how to deal with a caller to a call center, or fraud detection, or many other applications. You might want to be able to make these automated decisions smarter and faster. And overall, generally, they want to make an agile response to opportunities and threats that are constantly evolving. And it's not just the answers that change quickly, it's that the questions you want to ask, the questions you need to ask in your business are constantly changing. And so these are all analytic challenges for a large enterprise or small enterprise. And of course, R can help. And if you're here at this conference, you probably believe that R can help challenges like this. And R has a lot of great things about it that will help with these challenges. For one thing, it's agile. People love R because it's easy to prototype a new model or a new analysis, try many different things, and try and get to an answer reasonably quickly. R is also great because it can help you get these deeper insights that you want to get. It has a huge array of built-in analytic methods, access to, of course, thousands of packages on CRAN and Bioconductor and elsewhere. And why is this important? Well, because the best method to solve a given problem for a given level of best is likely available somewhere in R. And so people like R because they can Google for it and find some package that's relevant to the problem they're trying to solve, and quickly, hopefully, get a deeper insight that they're looking for. Now, of course, R has its own challenges, especially when we start trying to move R into the enterprise. This session, I'd say, is all about this. It's different approaches that Oracle and HP and TIBCO have done this. Many of the other sessions yesterday and today have been talking about these same challenges of how you take R into business applications and enterprise applications. One of the challenges, of course, is performance. That R is not really designed for real-time applications or big data applications. So it's, some challenge in trying to move it into these environments. There's also hard sometimes to make R accessible to a wider audience, because it's hard for someone who's not a data scientist, who's not an R user, to use R directly. Typically, they're more used to some sort of web application or other UI-driven tool, because that's the environment that they're comfortable with. They're not coders. They're not programmers. But again, if you want to make these decisions available to a wider audience, the power of advanced analytics, you need to provide some way of reaching that audience. R can also be very challenging to integrate into enterprise applications because of these concerns. IT may have concerns around performance, around limitations in commercial support. Depending on the nature of the business and what you're doing with it, there might be intellectual property concerns of embedding this GPL engine into something, especially if you're redistributing it to your own customers. And because of these performance concerns and these limitations around broader usage, you can also often run into compromises. And these compromises can impact the agility that you want to get in these applications. Often these compromises drive someone to recode what they've done in a less agile environment. One of the earlier speakers today was talking about taking their R models and recoding them into JSON, which I thought was very, very creative, but an extra step that you don't necessarily want to do. Or someone might then go, okay, well, for this particular problem, I'm going to go use this package, because this package or this vendor's offering will solve this problem or this class of problems well. And still, I'm recoding, I'm rewriting what I do in order to solve that special problem. And next time a different problem comes up, I might have to go out and search across CRAN to find out, well, what's the best package to do this? What's going to help me eke out that extra bit of performance I need to do here? And so these are the sort of compromises that stop you from taking what you've developed and then quickly putting it into production. So what would an ideal solution to this problem look like? Well, an ideal solution would be a single environment that allow you to prototype in R, but then to deploy to production in R as well, staying in the R language. Something that lets you do this without recoding, without delay, without compromises. Something that would scale to big data to solve the larger problems. And because this would really help you enable the agile response to these opportunities and threats that you want. So what does this require? Well, for any sort of solution to this problem, and I'm not just talking about what TIBCO offers, but whatever you're looking at, whether it's a homegrown solution or something from another vendor, these sort of solution would require something that has the full analytic flexibility and power and breadth of R, so you're confident that you can find the right answer to a given problem, the best answer. Something that's high performance and scalable and robust when in deployment. Something that makes it easy to embed, that I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time I want to put this into another application, but I have ways of implementing this and integrating it into business intelligence applications or into real-time applications. Something that's fully supported. If you want to use this for mission-critical applications in your organization, IT is going to want to know, what's the support behind this? Are they on the hook for support, or is there someone they can call when something goes wrong and breaks? And also from the R user's perspective, it's got to be convenient and valuable to them. It's got to be something that doesn't force them to recode in a specialized environment or use specialized libraries, but use their standard R functions, what they're used to, and use them in a standard environment that they're familiar with, things like RStudio. So again, whenever you're looking at a solution for putting R into deployment or integrating it, think about these points and ask these points of anyone who's trying to pitch a given solution for you. And it was these points that was really the guideposts that drove us to build our own solution to this. And part of that solution is TARE, TIBCO Enterprise Runtime for R. It's something we built from the ground up. It's unique. It's an enterprise-grade R engine. It's not a repackaging of open source R. It's not a different distribution of open source R. It's something that we built based on our long expertise as the makers of S+, and something that delivers better performance and memory management and scalability than open source R. It's designed for R language compatibility, so it's got access to huge range of analytic methods, what's typically found in core R, as well as many, many packages. It's designed for embedding into products. It's something that we embed into our own products, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But it's also something that we license to third parties, as well as to customers to embed in things that they want to create and share with others. And it's really focused on extending the reach of R to the enterprise, so that an R user can develop an open source R, can then deploy on a commercially supported and robust platform, all without the delay of rewriting, recoding, retesting in another environment. Now, I always get the question of, really, you're faster than open source R? What do you actually mean by that? And it's a longer conversation. I'll be at the booth after this, and if you want to have more details on that, I'm happy to talk about it. But in general, because we've optimized for performance, because we are based on 64-bit architectures from the first design principle, and because we focused a lot on memory management, and basically being very, very efficient in how we use memory, we handle much, much larger data sets in memory than open source R typically can. And we're not only that, but we're typically linear and predictable in performance as you put more and more data through it. And so for smaller size data sets, we're maybe 2 to 10 times as fast on average as open source R. For larger data, we're 10 up to 100 times faster than R, even infinitely faster than R when you get to the point where R falls over and TEAR keeps going for a larger data set. So, of course, by itself, an analytic engine like TEAR is valuable, but it doesn't necessarily solve the need of easy embedding of your R code. So TIBCO offers a few different pieces to its platform to make that easy. If you were in the Shell talk earlier, you heard them mention Spotfire as their preferred environment for sharing within Shell. Got a number of other customers here that use Spotfire. Spotfire itself is a broad analytics platform. It's for visualization, data discovery. Really the focus is taking data from anywhere in your organization, including big data on Hadoop and Spark and other platforms, or data that's in database, providing value to various types of users within your organization, and leveraging both visual analytics and advanced analytics. Now, in terms of advanced analytics, we focus on an ecosystem. So it's not just R, it's not just TEAR. SAS, MATLAB, KNIME, in-database analytics, all that can be called from within a Spotfire application. And again, this is something that I'm happy to talk to you more about at the booth after the conversation. But what does this matter? What can you do when you have something like TEAR and something like Spotfire together? Well, you can solve this problem that I articulated at the beginning. You can take what you've developed in open source R, and you can make it available to a wider audience so that they can make smarter decisions more quickly. So within Spotfire, you can take an R code, your R code or R script, you can embed it in a couple of different ways, and I'm just going to jump over to a demo to show that, a couple of demos. And our customers, again, if you were at the Shell talk earlier, you saw Shell talk a little bit about their Spotfire usage. Our customers use this unique combination of visual analytics and advanced analytics to do some really cool stuff. Things like customer churn, or fraud detection, or supply chain optimization, even things like HR planning, where they can have really this deep, sophisticated advanced analytics put in the hands of a business user in a way that's consumable and relevant to them. And again, in a standard framework that has all the enterprise features your IT department is going to be happy with without having to reinvent the wheel each time. So that's TEAR in BI applications. In real-time applications, TIBCO also offers products around complex event processing. So things like FedEx runs on TIBCO. So when you track your FedEx package and you go to the website and you see all those events where the package has been picked up or scanned or dropped or shipped somewhere, all that runs on a TIBCO backbone, where those events are tracked across the world using TIBCO software. We enable advanced analytics to plug into that real-time backbone so that when something happens, when an event is identified, you can trigger a predictive model. You can then, based on that process, you can get an evaluation of that model and then trigger some business process based on the outcome of that predictive model. We've got some cool case studies on our website. One is around logistics optimization. So this is a case where a large logistics company is using a combination of TIBCO complex event processing and TEAR to do things like port congestion detection, where as a ship is approaching port, run an automated process that says, how likely is it for there to be a berth when I get there? If it's not likely, alert the operator so you can slow down the ship, because it's cheaper to get there a little bit later than to pay for temporary docking. Similarly, as they're going along, track periodically, how likely are they to deviate from their planned course by some margin? As they're likely to do so, alert the operator, alert the owner, so that they can take corrective action there. And we're really just beginning to scratch the surface of some of the really cool things that we can do with advanced analytics and real-time applications. Similarly, Spotfire is used in oil and gas quite a bit. I mentioned Shell. So, of course, in oil and gas extraction, there's a lot of expensive equipment involved in doing that, and that equipment needs to be maintained. And so, in many cases, it's kind of a rough rule of thumb as the engineers are looking at this data to determine when's the best time to take something offline to do maintenance, or when is something likely to go down. And so they're moving towards, from these ad hoc rules to doing more sophisticated advanced analytics. And one way to do that is to combine TIBCO's real-time event processing with predictive models embedded in TEAR, which allow them to, develop and deploy models for predictive maintenance right within their systems. And of course, again, to approach, to deliver this value, we need to make TEAR available in as many places as possible, to make it easy to take your R code, deploy it out into production very quickly. So in addition to things like Spotfire for data discovery and Jaspersoft for reporting, we also embed TEAR in complex event processing, but we also make TEAR available in other products. LavaStorm Analytics is a partner of ours. They embed TEAR in their platform to provide advanced analytics. Our good friends at RStudio, we made sure that TEAR is compatible with the RStudio IDE, so you can use it there. And also, many of you are probably familiar with, I'm curious, how many of you are familiar with KNIME? Okay. So KNIME, of course, is an open source tool for data workflow, data prep, and analysis, and TEAR is fully compatible and can be used within that framework as well. So just a couple points to wrap up. So I've talked a lot about the benefits of TEAR for an enterprise. But I also want to emphasize the benefits of TEAR for an individual R user. The idea is to take what you develop and make it available, extract that value, unlock it, and really make it more widely available and valuable across your organization. To do this, we also provide a free developer edition of TEAR. So you can go to tap.tibco.com, tap.tibco.com. You can download a full version of the TEAR engine, try it for yourself, do some performance tests, do some compatibility tests, and generally ask any questions you want through our community site, where I and the rest of the TEAR team are very active. And so to sum up, TEAR is R for the enterprise. We want to help you develop code in open source R and then deploy on a commercially supported and robust platform without recoding, without compromises, so that you can save time and money and quickly respond to these new threats and opportunities. Help you tightly embed this R functionality within your applications, scale them to larger data, and really extend the power of R to a wider audience and more applications. So, thank you.